Okay, so welcome back to the channel, everybody. I was right in the middle of doing some memory testing. You know, I've got a whole bunch of videos going on, editing, everything. It's all a mess in this room. And then Apple went and released something like the Vision Pro. And of course, we have to talk about it. There's a lot to talk about because this is, well, it's a product like we've never seen before. You would think that, you know, it's just a VR headset. You know, we have VR headsets already. It's different. It's different in so many ways. Not all good ways, but it is different. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna talk about all of that. First, if you're unaware of what I'm talking about with the Vision Pro, well, let's go ahead and roll Apple's version of what the Vision Pro is with their promotional video.
Introducing Apple Vision Pro. The era of spatial computing is here. Space. This is Vision OS, Apple's first ever spatial operating system. It's like magic. Apps have dimension, react to light, and cast shadows. Because you're not limited by a display. Apps live in your space. Apple Vision Pro brings the scale and wonder of a movie theater to whatever space you're in. It automatically darkens and casts a beautiful glow into the room. And you can make the screen as big as you want. Spatial audio surrounds. To make all these digital experiences feel real in your space takes an extraordinary amount of technology. Yet Apple Vision Pro is remarkably compact and beautiful. A single piece of three-dimensionally formed laminated glass acts as a lens through which the cameras and sensors view the world. It flows seamlessly into a lightweight aluminum alloy frame that gently curves to wrap around your face. And we designed a modular system so you can find the right fit. The light seal keeps stray light from your eyes, and a soft frame gently flexes and conforms to your unique features. The headband is 3D knitted to provide cushioning, breathability, and stretch. And a high-performance battery reduces weight to a minimum and slips easily into your pocket. To convincingly place content in your space took thousands of groundbreaking innovations and custom technologies. Since your eyes see the world with incredible resolution, we built a micro OLED display system that fits 64 pixels in the same amount of space as a single iPhone pixel, and packs 23 million into two panels the size of a postage stamp. That's more than a 4K TV for each eye, giving you jaw-dropping, lifelike clarity. The era of spatial computing is here. This is Apple Vision Pro.
Okay, well, you probably have some opinions right off the bat after watching that. And I do too. And when I first watched that, I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's neat. But what can it really do? They show you what it can do, but how does that apply to me? Like, how can I use the Vision Pro? So what we're gonna do is, the product page for the Vision Pro, there's a whole bunch of tabs here. You go in there, there's a bunch of tabs that highlight different things about the headset. So what we're gonna do is go through each one and just see what they're talking about. And if this technology is new to Apple, well, not new to Apple, all of it's new to Apple, but new to the industry, the VR industry. And, or if this is something that Apple is pioneering. So we'll go through each one and just take a look. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first one is Enclosure. Now, what they're saying is that the Vision Pro has, it's almost like if you've ever flown on I think it's a 787, some modern commercial aircraft now have windows that can be electronically tinted. So you can have a clear view and then you can change that to not clear. Now that's kind of what they're doing here with the Vision Pro. They're making it so there's a screen in front a forward-facing screen for other people to look at. And what the screen is going to display is an avatar of your eyes. So it looks like your eyes through the headset. Basically trying to mimic as if you were to take that glass and turn it clear. That way you're looking into your eyes and you're looking back, which you are looking back at a person. Say they come up and say, hey, what's going on? We need to talk. You're inside this VR world. Talk to me. If you do that, you can then change it so that they see your eyes, and wherever you're looking, that's what shows up on the outside to the person that's looking at you. That's pretty cool. And that's something that no headset has. They do have eye tracking, but no headset currently on the market displays your eyes on the outside to people around. And that's cool. That's cool. And it's definitely going to be useful for people that use this like in a work environment. I picture just two people having a conversation with one of them having the Vision Pro goggles, their goggles, having the Vision Pro headset on and just trying to talk normally to somebody while they're looking at your avatar eyeballs. It doesn't work in my brain. And I really want them to send me one so that I can try that on my kids, try that on my wife, try that on my friends, and see how they react. If they can keep a straight face, if they can honestly look into my avatar eyes and legitimately carry a conversation with me. I don't think it's gonna. I can't see myself looking at somebody with the Vision Pro on, looking at their eyeballs going, I see what you're doing here, but no. I just picture going up to my parents and having them say, take those off. You look ridiculous. Take those off. All right, moving on to the cameras and sensors. So one of the main selling points of the Vision Pro is the cameras that it has on the outside, inside, everywhere. It's got cameras everywhere. And what we've seen lately is headsets trying to go more AR or XR. So they're virtual reality and their augmented reality kind of combined. So XR. And on things like oh jeez, the headset or the light shield just fell off. On something like the XR Elite, you have cameras on the outside. I mean, that's pretty standard. That's been there. That technology's been there for a while. But on the XR Elite, it's one of the best that I've ever seen. So the cameras that display the room that you're in, this is the best as far as the color, the clarity, and not necessarily the depth because it kind of misses out on that, but it is really good. Like when I'm flying in the simulator, this allows me to, I think you double press the button and it shows like the throttle and all the buttons that I have to change everything in the airplane. The physical buttons, I can actually see them. And that's cool because it kind of blends the two together. You know, just press it and I'm back in the airplane. This is going to be more because it's more focused on bringing your world, your room, into whatever environment that you're trying to project on the screens. So I really expect these cameras to be outstanding. Like those external cameras are going to provide what I think is going to be just an incredibly clear image. And one thing that I think that Apple is really going to innovate and set the bar for is depth. So like with the XR Elite, the depth really isn't there. So when you're looking at something and you reach out for it, it's not that easy to grab, to judge where the object is and to grab it. I think that Apple is going to do amazing with this because of some of the different technologies that they have with their phones. Putting it into this Vision Pro, I think that's going to be outstanding. So one of the things that those external cameras do is track your hands. So all the navigation, everything through the apps that they have is all done through eye tracking. So you look where you want to select. You know, they show in the demo that you have a whole bunch of different apps up there, and then whichever one you want to go to, you look at it, it highlights or it does an animation, and then you just pinch to select it. Well, that already exists. That exists in all of these headsets, except for the Arrow over here. Or sorry, the Reverb, the Arrow, anything that has hand tracking enabled. So the Quest Pro and the XR Elite have that. And I do use that because I don't want to go over into my simulator and then have to bring a controller with me and then find a place to set it down and everything. No, I just use my hands. I select, whenever you put your hand up, it turns into a pointer, and then you can select using the pointer what you want to, go to, and then just pinch, and it acts like a mouse click. So that technology already exists. Hand tracking it's okay on these headsets. It's not 100%. So if Apple can nail the hand tracking where it is perfectly smooth, then that is a great way to navigate. But nothing beats a physical controller. I predict that either they're going to sell a controller as an accessory for games, or the games are going to be built around hand gestures, and it's just not going to be that great. The games are going to be very like Wii style. Onto the audio. Okay, so Apple owns Beats now. I mean, that's history. They've created the AirPods and the AirPods Max, AirPods Pro. Their MacBook is fantastic with sound. Overall, they're pretty great when it comes to producing clear, just high quality audio. And I don't think that this is going to be any different. They have stopped putting speakers inside of the straps and just gone for a bubble on the sides. You can see it's very clearly defined. That's where the speaker is. And I think there's enough space that they can fit the drivers necessary to create clear sound with enough bass to really, offer that full immersion, especially when you're watching videos. And this is focused on content consumption. So it needs to be good enough for the audiophiles Apple usually tries to impress. Those speaker pods on the side are meant to deliver spatial audio, and that's something that Apple is really good at achieving. So I don't doubt that those speakers are going to be some of the best out there. Now, it is hard to compete with something like the Reverb G2 and the Valve Index that have these gigantic drivers that sit down near your ear and drive the sound right at you. It's a lot harder when you have something that's up in the strap. There's not as much space. So how is it going to compare to something like that? I'm not sure. That's some of the best audio, aside from having a full-on headphone, over-ear headphone. That's some of the best audio that I've ever heard for a headset. So will it compete with that? Hopefully. They have the potential. They have the audio technology to be able to create something like that. So I'm pretty excited to see how it sounds, or hear how it sounds. Compared to something like the XR Elite, where the speakers are just these tiny speakers built into the strap, I think Apple's going to have a clear win on this one with the Vision Pro. The headband looks comfortable. It basically looks like a Apple Watch strap that's been enlarged and for your head. Now, if the AirPods Max are anything to go by as far as the comfort, then I think the strap is going to be comfortable. It's going to support as it should. I think they've done a lot of research to get this to fit and to be comfortable for all the different head shapes. And the light seal, I think the light seal is going to be the same kind of material, like the memory foam, real soft, conforming material, which is perfect for a light seal. If you get a good amount of pressure and then it pushes up, it'll feel supportive without putting too much pressure on any one spot and be very comfortable. Things like the XR Elite has one of the worst light seals out there, and the overall design is just not great for comfort. The Quest Pro is a lot better, well balanced, puts most of the weight up here on your forehead, and I would say that's one of the more comfortable headsets out there. This is a completely different design, the way that they have the strap and everything, and it's more like a ski goggle. It looks like a ski goggle. So I think, honestly, gotta try it first to really determine if it's going to be good or not. Apple has always been a little, let's say, vague with the specs of their displays. So relying on pixel density and terms like retina to describe how the display feels when you look at it, and to mask the actual display capabilities. So for these displays, they say it's more than a 4K TV for each eye. They also claim that there are 23 million pixels for the system. Now, I'm assuming that means the system being both displays. So let's break that down. A 4K display is 3840 by 2160 for a total of 8,294,400 pixels. Two 4K displays would be 16,588,800, which is a lot less than the claimed 23 million that Apple touts. So what does that mean for the Vision Pro displays? Well, we can work backwards in the other direction to see what each display is going to have. So 23 million divided by 2 gives us 11,500,000 per display. So if you take the square root of that and assume that you have, a square display rather than like the 16:9 ratio, that's going to be 3,391 by 3,391. Just to put that number into perspective, the Aero, which is the king of clarity for VR headsets, has a resolution of 2880 by 2720. So a lot better. And something like the Quest Pro has, I believe it's 1920 by 1920. So that is way higher. And those displays, those screens, are going to be magnificent. And I'm assuming, judging by just the size, the overall size, and how they kind of show the lens, that it's going to be a pancake lens, kind of like the Quest Pro and the XR Elite, rather than the Fresnel lens like you find in the Quest and the Reverb G2, things like that. Next, they have the light seal. We've already talked about that it's probably that same really soft, squishy material that you find in the AirPods Max. And it is better looking than I've seen in a bunch of other headsets. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good. And the only way to really test that is to have it in hand, to put it on, and to see how it is. Then we have the digital crown, which is the same as your Apple Watch if you have it. And that's going to be great for navigation, volume, things like that. It's always good to have a physical button like that you can change. I mean, most headsets do have some sort of physical buttons on there for volume, for powering it on and off, simple navigation buttons. But it seems like this is a lot more that you can use it for, because the Vision Pro is aimed at being a computer itself. Not a phone, but a computer. I mean, it's got the M2 chip and the R1 for handling all the cameras and everything. So it's basically a very small computer built in to the VR headset, or the XR AR headset. I do like the fact that they're putting the M2 chip inside of this and the R1 chip, which is meant to handle all the cameras and everything and kind of handle the integration with the virtual reality part of it. And then you combine that with the M2 chip to handle all the computing. So that's cool. That combination is great. And I think it might be used, let's say they did make a more achievable cost for a headset in the future where it was targeted at like gaming. Well, the fact that they have those chips designed for that makes it a lot easier. So hopefully that's something we see down the road. All right, so the top button allows you to take spatial videos and spatial photos. Now these are the kind of photos that are kind of tailored for the Vision Pro, and they are basically, it's a 3D image. So you have a camera near each eye distance that's going to take the picture and create that 3D image that you can view in 3D inside the headset. This is nothing new. They've had 3D cameras for a while now, and you've been able to view them in VR headsets, with the specific software. But it's kind of cool that the headset itself can do it, and the cameras are going to be good enough to do that. Again, that's going to be something you need to test when you have the headset itself to see what the resolution of the videos and the cameras are. They're just kind of showing that that's going to be an option. So you can sit there with your headset on, looking super weird while everyone's looking at your eyeballs, and take a video of them. Cool, I guess. That's one of those things that, yeah, the capability is there, but do you really want to use it? Now we switch to power. So there is an external battery that supports 2 hours of use. 2 hours is not very good, especially for an external battery that you have to have hooked up in your pocket. And they show that, the wire going down and sitting in your pocket. It looks relatively large for an external battery. So 2 hours is not very good. And I like the fact that they say all day use when plugged in. Well, you don't say. My device will work an entire day if I plug it in? Wow. Thanks, Apple. That's great. Now let's talk about who this is for. So the price is set at $3,500. And that's really expensive. I mean, we're talking MacBook Pro levels of cost for not a MacBook Pro level of performance. It's cool. It's really cool. And I would say that if your company bought this for you to use as a screen in your workspace, that's great. But using a VR headset long term, just it doesn't work. I've tried using it for a while, not there yet. Out of all these headsets, it's just not to the point where you could use it for an entire day or just an entire work day. We're not there yet as far as the level of comfort. And having goggles on the entire time with screens right in front of you, it's going to be no different. I don't care how good the resolution is, having something on your face for 8 hours a day is just not going to be comfortable. So aside from using this in the workplace, would you use this at home? Well, I can see traveling. That'd be great on an airplane, being able to watch content. But I wonder if you need the internet to watch any kind of streaming service. So on the airplane, like how are you going to watch content on an airplane? Your phone maybe? I'm not sure how that's going to work. But if you're at home, you want to watch content, you're streaming, you want to watch a movie, that's awesome. Or you want to look at your photos, that's cool. You can do that on any other headset right now. So what makes the Vision Pro desirable? Well, the displays are great. The displays are super awesome, and the advancement in that display technology is something that we should see trickle down into other headsets. Great, but again, who's it for? Like, who's gonna spend that much money to be able to do something that your phone can do in goggle form? And that's where I think they've kind of lost a lot of people here with that price. They have innovated so many different things, and they've put so much money into the design of this, but that just raised the cost. They could have done something just slightly better than what we have now. Thrown the Apple design into it, like the comfort, changed a few things, and made it more achievable for the average person. Because $3,500, that instantly turns the majority of people away from this product. What I think is going to happen is you're going to see a lot of people on YouTube like reviewing this and showing off its capabilities, but that's going to be it. You're not going to see the average person going out and saying, wow, this is amazing. I'm so glad I spent $3,500 on it. It's totally worth it. I don't see that happening. Now, it's no coincidence that this was released at the WWDC, because I feel like it's a shout out to all the developers out there saying, here is this product, make the apps to support it. We're designing this amazing product and putting it out there. And what you guys need to do is make it worth it through your apps, through games, through different integrations of apps that your phone has, through content, everything. Other than a workforce or something someone that is very, very into, like, let's say video editing and wants wants to edit videos on your face. I don't even see that. It's such a niche market that they're targeting with this that it just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. Now, I need to know if it appeals to you. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you would actually spend $3,500 on. For me, it's going to be a hard pass. Unless in this year, not year, but in the time leading up to next year, whenever they release it, if we see a lot more support of games that are going to come out, of different ways that you can connect it, if you can integrate it with PC VR games, things like that, awesome. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Now the value is starting to show. But as of right now, unless you have been dreaming of a way to take your phone and wear it on your face, then this means nothing to you. So I don't want to hate on this too hard. It's going to be amazing. And if the price was a lot lower, it would definitely be worth buying. And absolutely, if they give me one of these, I will take it. I will take it and I will love it. But am I going to spend $3,500 of my money to grab this? Absolutely not. Now, if you're wondering if you can use this for something like Microsoft Flight Simulator or DCS or any simulation or any PC VR in general, the answer is most likely going to be no. Absolutely not. This is built for the Apple ecosystem, and as we all know, Apple is not made for gaming. It's made for productivity. It's made for editing and creation, content creation. So it's not going to be the most amazing, highest resolution display that you can get for things like Microsoft Flight Simulator. Unless they find a way to integrate it with PC VR down the road, which I don't think is going to happen. I could be wrong, and that would be great because those displays look amazing. And the eye tracking looks amazing. So foveated rendering could be great, but I just don't think Apple wants you using it in things like PC VR. That's gonna do it for my little rant on the Vision Pro. I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you want it? Do you want to ignore it? Do you think it's good that Apple created something like this, or do you think it's gonna be a massive flop? Let me know in the comments. Now, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.